Good evening, you're watching News Today at 9 p.m. I am Preeti Choudhry. Our top questions that we address in debate in this edition of News Today over the course of the next 45 minutes. Modi's war cry, end illegal immigration. The word Ghuspetia, viewers, rung in from Bihar all the way to West Bengal. Also on the show, Supreme Court's big relief coming in from 4 stray dogs. All of that. Our top focus is the Prime Minister today, who was in the state of Bihar and also West Bengal. Prime Minister Modi visited West Bengal after Bihar, wherein he flagged off 3 new metro lines. In Kolkata, later at a rally, he accused the TMC of allowing illegal immigrants for vote bank politics. He also spoke out in support of the bill introduced to sack ministers who spend 30 straight days in jail. Bengal still remains to be a big challenge for the BJP, and the Prime Minister's rallies are only a preview, viewers, of what we could expect in the next assembly polls. Assembly polls next year in the state of West Bengal, the electioneering already on.
मैं लगातार इस बहुत बड़ी राष्ट्रीय चुनौती की चर्चा करता रहा। आजकल आप देखते हैं, जिन देशों को विकसित कहा जाता है, जिनके पास संसाधनों की कोई कमी नहीं है, वहां घुसपैठियों के खिलाफ मुहिम चल रही है। ये देश अब घुसपैठियों को ज्यादा नहीं सह सकता। घुसपैठियों को निकालना चाहिए कि नहीं निकालना चाहिए? घुसपैठिए जाने चाहिए कि नहीं जाने चाहिए? साथियों, मोदी नहीं, भाजपा नहीं, आपका एक वोट करा सकता है, आपका एक वोट। साथियों, भारत के पास तो संसाधन सीमित है। हमें अपने नौजवानों को रोजगार देना है, अपने नागरिकों को सुविधाएं देनी है। जो घुसपैठिए हमारे नौजवानों का रोजगार छीन रहे हैं, जो हमारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर दबाव डाल रहे हैं, जो हमारी बहनों बेटियों के साथ अत्याचार कर रहे हैं, ऐसे घुसपैठियों को हम भारत में नहीं रहने देंगे। इसलिए भारत सरकार ने घुसपैठियों के खिलाफ इतना बड़ा अभियान चलाया हुआ है। लेकिन साथियों, मुझे हैरानी है कि टीएमसी, कांग्रेस समेत कुछ इंडी अलायंस के राजनीतिक दल तुष्टीकरण के आगे घुटने टेक चुके हैं। ये राजनीतिक दल सत्ता की भूख के लिए घुसपैठ को बढ़ावा दे रहे हैं। कुछ जगह पे तो दिख रहा है उन्होंने घुसपैठियों की शरण ले ली है। आजकल ये लोग इतने गिरे हैं कि जेल से भी सरकार चलाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। पश्चिम बंगाल ने ये साक्षात देखा है, कई बार अनुभव किया है। टीएमसी के एक मंत्री टीचर्स घोटाले में आज तक जेल में है। शिक्षक भर्ती का गंभीर घोटाला, घर से नोटों का पहाड़ मिला, लेकिन तब भी वो मंत्री कुर्सी छोड़ने को तैयार नहीं थे। जनता की हर भावना को यहां निर्ममता से कुचला जाता रहा। इसी तरह टीएमसी के एक और मंत्री पर गरीबों का राशन लूटने का आरोप है। इनकी भी करोड़ों रुपए की संपत्ति जब्त हो चुकी है। ये मंत्री भी जेल जाने के बाद कुर्सी छोड़ने को तैयार नहीं थे। इन्होंने भी जनता की भावना की, संविधान की भावना की कोई परवाह नहीं की। साथियों, आप मुझे बताइए, ऐसे लोग जो भ्रष्ट है, जो जनता को धोखा दे रहे हैं, क्या उन्हें सरकार में अपने पद पर रहने का हक है क्या? हक है क्या? इसलिए मैंने तय किया ये सब नहीं चल सकता। मंत्री हो, मुख्यमंत्री हो, अरे इतना ही नहीं, प्रधानमंत्री को भी सख्त कानून के दायरे में लाया हूं। साथियों, इच्छापुर डिफेंस फैक्ट्री सिर्फ एक उदाहरण है। आप यहां 2026 में भाजपा सरकार बनाइए, हम बंगाल को डॉक्टर श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी के सपनों का बंगाल बनाएंगे। बंद पड़े कारखाने फिर से खुलेंगे, नया निवेश और नए कारखाने लगेंगे और दमदम फिर से इंडस्ट्रियल हब बनेगा। ये भाजपा का संकल्प है।
All right, joining me right now is Shashi Panja, West Bengal Minister. She's with us live. Ms. Panja, thank you. Appreciate it for taking the time out for us. Ms. Panja, my first question comes from something that the TMC repeats very often, which is called the spirit of federalism. And at the back of it, I want to ask you a question. If it is the spirit of federalism, then the Chief Minister of West Bengal should have been besides the Prime Minister when he inaugurated the metro lines. But Mamata Banerjee refused to do that. Why, ma'am?
Now, what I would say is that the continued denial of the credit of Honorable Chief Minister when she was the former Railway Minister, during which time these projects had been conceptualized. So this is, history repeats itself. In Metro, whenever there are inaugurations here, we have been actually neglected and not even, credited with her what she had laid out then. So this was way back in 2011-12. These budgets, these funds were then allocated when the railway budget was also there. So this has been even in the past. The continued ignorance, to ignore our presence, to ignore our credit. So this has always been there. This is one. And we are facing flack from this BJP or the Prime Minister. Well, the Prime Minister, when you're in Bengal and otherwise too, you have never spoken. Today he was glorifying the language. And his very own party men have said that there is no language called Bengali, it is Bangladesh. Look at the mahal in which we the BJP has created. If no chance is gone unnoticed or not unutilized by the BJP in which you humiliate a Bengali-speaking citizen who's a citizen of this country. This Bengali-speaking migrant labor who's working maybe in the BJP-ruled states, who's already been deported to Bangladesh. So this continuous humiliation of Bengal, they have not left any, a friendly atmosphere anymore. And
you're
we have
saying
seen
it was
also in the past. There were times.
So the absence wasn't protest. Is that what you're saying, Ms. Panja?
No. Our pride is hurt. In the past, how they have never recognized her contribution as a railway minister, even in the past. There were times when she was uninvited. Today you're saying she was invited. Why did she go? Look at the humiliation which has been meted out in this government. Look at the political deprivation of funds which are due to Bengal. He's saying we are gifting you metro. We don't want gifts. This is something which is due to Bengal. This project was laid many more years ago, even before BJP came to power. Not only that, 1.393 lakh crore is due to Bengal. These are funds which are absolutely just. You continue to deprive because actually, BJP still has not come to terms.
So basically, Ms. Panja, what you're saying is
in 21 and 24.
So the atmosphere is acerbic. It's gone down a line where there is absolutely no goodwill. So therefore, we saw the absence of the Chief Minister at this event. I want to touch on something, Ms. Panja, and help me understand that.
I can't hear you fully because of network issues. Look at the narrative.
Okay, can you hear me, ma'am? Can you hear me? Is that good?
Yes, I couldn't hear you.
Okay. Ms. Panja, I want to ask you if you can hear me. I want to take you through a question which is derived from what the Prime Minister raised, the issue of infiltration, demography change in West Bengal. According to a recent report, Ms. Panja, which is as early as August this year, the West Bengal CEO's office has witnessed a sharp rise in the voter registration through Form 6 in border districts. North and South 24 Paraganas, Nadia, and minority-dominated areas of Malda and Murshidabad. The jump is as high as 9-folds, from around 100 assembly constituencies to nearly 900 a month. Now, ma'am, the larger question in this that can be raised is, doesn't the TMC think infiltration is a genuine concern in West Bengal?
You see, first of all, let us make it very clear. Trinamool Congress does not win depending on so-called these votes of infiltrators and Rohingyas. This is a very wrong kind of narrative which is being set out. Second is, this is the colossal failure of the border security force, which is at the behest of the Union Home Ministry. It is not within our control to guard our borders. It was not even within the control of Jammu and Kashmir that they could guard the borders. It was BSF to prevent those terrorists who came into Pahalgam, killed the tourists, and went back also, happily. So the borders have to be guarded by the border security force and other armed forces, which comes under the Union Home Ministry. Why blame us? This is a colossal failure of the border security force. They should look into it. We are not relying on infiltrators. We cannot identify them. Why can't they prevent them from infiltrating if they have identified them? And why put the blame on us? Why are you blaming us about the demographic mission and the changes? I mean, we are not allowing people to infiltrate.
But Dr. Panja, the accusation,
this is a continuous narrative.
Right. Fair point. But Dr. Panja, the accusation is that the TMC is in denial of the fact that there is a genuine problem. Now, if you go prima facie with the figures that the West Bengal CEO's office has, arrived at in just 3 months, and the jump in registration in Form 6 of new voters, would you not reckon it's worrying?
Now, what I would say is, if these reports have come in, then they have the wherewithal to accept or reject those applications. But look at what happened with SIR and things like that. You went to Lok Sabha polls in 2024 with this list. And now you are saying it is full of infiltrators and Rohingyas, etc. Well, you took the votes then on such a faulty list. And that is why we are fighting. It just suits them. It is just as per their whims and fancies. So why don't you disqualify all those applications? What we are trying to say, don't put the blame on us. Look at the SIR huge ruckus that they have created. They are actually omitting genuine voters. So this is a severe backlash. Now they have to set the narrative. This is a severe backlash that they are facing, BJP. So you have to divert the attention of the people of India with various other issues, like the bill against corruption.
Fair point. But Dr. Panja, today when the Prime Minister came to West Bengal, he made it a point to speak in Bangla. All of this comes in the backdrop of the TMC targeting the Prime Minister and the BJP and the government for targeting Bengali speakers. Do you think this is of any significance?
Now, this is significant because I think they are now trying to self-correct because they have made mistakes. They have humiliated the language, the culture, and just in one moment they have made us foreigners to our own country. You speak in Bengali, there's nothing called Bengal, it's Bangladesh. Now today he was trying to attempt and say and glorify the language and the richness of the language, etc. Self-contradictory statements. So it is them to resolve what they wish, what their stand is going to be. Just because they are just like migratory birds, you know. Now it's vote season. Well, 6 months down the line, the vote is coming. So 4 times he appealed in his speech. Please, ek baar to chance de dijiye. On what? You humiliate Bengal, you deprive Bengal, and then you are in a mode of self-correction. What do we say? Each speech is different from what you said before.
Okay.
And even the Bengal BJP and their leaders continue to contradict themselves.
Dr. Panja, I'm going to ask you one final question before I let you go, and that stems from the fact of TMC's vehement opposition to the constitutional amendment bill, which the Prime Minister also spoke of today in West Bengal, practically projecting TMC as a party that wants to protect tainted criminal netas. If you go, some of the names could be Madan Mitra, Firhad Hakim, Subrata Mukherjee, Partha Chatterjee, Jyotipriya Malik. So in that context, the BJP in West Bengal is taking the TMC on that you're a corrupt party and you're only looking to oppose this bill because you want to protect your netas who are clearly have criminal antecedents.
Okay, going by his argument, the Honorable Prime Minister's argument, let's fall into that only. What happens to those people? You had targeted, say, 25 people, out of which 23 of those leaders get reprieve because they have switched over to BJP. What happens to the investigations? They've stopped. They have stopped. The once you get into the washing machine, it stops. And so in that argument, these people did not get into the washing machine. So continue. So what we are trying to say was this was actually not a bill, because it will never become an act, but this bill was not to eliminate corruption, but to eliminate the opposition. That's what we are saying. Otherwise, 23 of his ministers have serious cases. Ministers in the Modi ji's cabinet have serious cases against them. What have we done? Not 23, 28 of them face cases. Out of them, 16 are heinous crimes. So what has he done about it? I mean, if he's really very worried about the corruption angle. So basically, this is to scare you with CBI ED and then to have you switch over. And you can topple if it's a government like Maharashtra, which they did in Maharashtra. So we've said it in the past, we will not switch over. And we are not going to be intimidated by all these. And there will be no Maharashtra, Delhi model, nothing of that sort in Bengal.
Dr. Panja, thank you for taking the time out and answering all our questions. We really appreciate the time. Thank you, ma'am. All right, viewers, I want to now cut across to our debate this evening, the questions that we moot for our face-off, Hindutva nationalism versus Bangla pride, something we saw play out in the state of West Bengal. Immigration fight or dog whistle is Bengal BJP's final frontier, a frontier that they have been trying to conquer since many elections. Joining me for our political face-off, Preeti Bhandari, BJP spokesperson, in the studio with me, Manojit Mandal, political analyst. Mr. Bhandari, you saw that quick interview with Dr. Panja. Let me turn around that question. The spirit of federalism would have demanded that you had the Chief Minister of West Bengal by the side of the Prime Minister. When one thing which is on record is clear, that Mamata Banerjee in her second stint had approved a series of metro expansion projects across Kolkata. The 3 of those were on our television screen and something that the Prime Minister inaugurated. In the spirit of federalism, why not give credit where it's due?
Well, Preeti, Mamata Banerjee is against Bengali Asmita, is against development of Bengal. Firstly, the minister was completely wrong and factless 2.09 lakh crore was given by the Congress government to Bengal. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has given 8.27 lakh crore to developmental projects, which is 4 times. When Mamata Banerjee was ruling along with the Congress party, she did not oppose to such a less amount of fund. Now let us come to basic facts. If Mamata Banerjee was pro-development, you will not find 6,688 companies fleeing out of Bengal in the last 13 years. You will not see a situation that Bengal contributes less than 1% in the FDI share. When India got independence, Bengal contributed 30% to the industrial output. Congress, Communist and Trinamool Congress combined has reduced it to 3.5%. So they are anti-development. That is what data tells me. Now let me come to the part of infiltration. Infiltration is not a political issue. It is to do with national security. If Mamata Banerjee's government would not have been providing state patronage to infiltrators, you would see her giving 363 kilometers of land. In the last 11 years, she has given 0 kilometers of land for fencing, which the government has been asking from the last 11 years. Till date, 363 kilometers of land has not been given by Bengal government. Recall what Mamata Banerjee said. She called Rohingyas as common people. Recall what Ratna Biswas said. She in fact said that in Bangladeshi infiltrators should be given voter ID cards, and 25,000 voter ID cards with similar names were found in 11 constituencies in Bengal. So it is about patronage given by the Trinamool Congress government. And I will back it with how demography is changing in Bengal. In Bengal, you see the Hindu population growth rate in the share of population has dipped by 2%. You see border areas which were Hindu majority in the last 40 years have become Hindu minority. More than 30% districts in North 24 Parganas and South 24 Parganas has seen the Hindu population dipping from 90% to less than 70%. Along with this, you have seen rise in infiltration cases in all these areas. So our intent is not to do politics. Now coming to the Bengali Asmita, and I'll end that with another argument. If she would be with Bengali Asmita, she would not have stopped Durga Puja at the time of Durga Puja Visarjan. She stopped it because she wanted to appease her vote bank for Muharram. And if she was with Bengali Asmita, you had the communists ruling this country along with the Congress. You had the Trinamool Congress. None of these parties gave Bengal the pride and the real intent of the Bengali language, which is giving it the national heritage status. It was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government. And again, she is factually wrong. Not a single rupee of money which was due of the state has been given. So what we can say, we are standing for development, we are standing for Bengali Asmita, and we are a party which has been founded by a Bengali Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. But yes, we do not stand for infiltrators.
Okay.
She is standing for infiltrators, which is the biggest threat to the Bengali Asmita.
You know, I'm going to come back to you, but I'll ask you one quick question.
Please.
Why not give credit where it's due? Mamata Banerjee did greenlight many projects. 3 of those were the ones that were today flagged off by Prime Minister Modi. She did it in her second term.
Mamata Banerjee, if she would have been honest, and if she would have been honest in pro-development, then you would be seeing a situation of industries coming in Bengal. And coming to the part of metro, again I will tell you the reality. Overall, if you see on the part of railways, the amount of budget which was allocated by the UPA, which was 3.5 times less than what the NDA is allocated. So Mamata Banerjee is stopping the utilization certificate.
I agree with all your data points.
Even in this, it is the government of the day.
Okay, I'm going to go to Monojit Mandal. I agree with all.
Had she got it executed at the time of the Congress government? Can you tell us why did Tata move out of Bengal? Can you tell us why did Britannia move out of Bengal? Why is Bengal's share in the GDP gone down from 30% to 3%?
I'll go across to Monojit Mandal, but the question still remains. When somebody did start, because how does the spirit of federalism work?
It's a bit of give and take. We have not stopped Mamata Banerjee. Why did she not come?
Okay, no, that's what I'm saying. The spirit of federalism works. It's a bit of give and take. When somebody had floated, and greenlit
with
metro
that logic,
projects
Preeti,
in her
Congress
second
party
term,
was speaking about Garibi Hatao 70 years back. That does not mean we give them the credit because they did not do it. It's about who executes it.
Allow me to go to Monojit Mandal and bring him into this conversation. Monojit Mandal, number one, when it comes down to infiltration, we did give out some figures, if you heard, when we had Dr. Panja with us, where the West Bengal CEO has an exponential number where it comes down to Form 6 registrations that have come in from what many would suggest, which are the border areas of West Bengal, Nadia, then Malda, Murshidabad, which are minority dominated. So, which does somewhere down the line raise the red flag of infiltration. The question is that the West Bengal government seems to be in denial of it.
No, I think the minister has quite prudently answered this question. But since you have asked this question, I want to know from the BJP, out of the 65 lakh voters who were excluded from the list of Bihar electoral rolls, how many of them are infiltrators? What are they doing with Assam? Why do you have the maximum number of infiltrations still going on? I'm not even talking about the fact that if infiltration happens, it is the responsibility of the central government, not the state government. You was talking about eloquently vexing about Bengal not giving land. That's a fake news, entirely fake news. I mean, I'm not blaming Mr. What is his name? I'm forgetting the name of this person. It was
Pradeep Bhandari ji.
yeah, Mr. Bhandari. I'm sorry for that.
I think Mr. Mandal also forgets the name of Mamata Banerjee.
Prime Minister is distorting facts. He was talking about the jail minister, Partha Chatterjee. He was, he was completely turned off his, post within 5 days of he going to jail, and that was done by the party and Mr. Abhishek Banerjee. So the Prime Minister was distorting facts. And another minister who was in jail, his post was also taken up within 2-3 months of his going to jail. So when it comes to corruption, fighting corruption, I think TMC is at the foremost. And if we talk about the people who are in jail but not getting convicted, you talked about Madan Mitra. 10 years down the line, Shraddha case happened in 2014, 11 years down the line, not a single conviction, Preeti. Please raise these questions. You talked about Mr. Firyad Hakim in Narda case. 8 years have passed by, not a single conviction. These are all political tools. In fact, if you look at ED cases overall in the country itself, only 0.2% conviction rate. So what does it become? ED, CBI, income tax, the tools of the government, tools of BJP.
Okay.
And infiltration.
Where corruption is
I
concerned.
dare BJP. No, hang on, just one thing. I dare BJP. Please bring in SIR exercise in Assam. Why I challenge, still you have maximum number of infiltration.
Okay. All right, okay. But I thought you were opposed SIR anyway, which is at least the TMC was opposed to the SIR. But
hang on.
Okay,
We
ma'am,
said
sir,
that
I
it
will
has
come
to
back to
happen
you.
for BJP rule state
Okay,
first.
I will come back to you. I just want to bring in Pradeep Bhandari again. And the question, Pradeep Bhandari, is very clear because today the Prime Minister from West Bengal made some very grave allegations, and I'll read them out to you, where it comes down to corruption where the TMC is concerned. बंगाल के लिए जो पैसे हम राज्य सरकार को सीधे भेजते हैं उसका अधिकांश हिस्सा यहाँ लूट लिया जाता है, which primarily means that the center sends funds to the state of West Bengal, and a majority of that fund is been looted before it actually reaches the people by a corrupt government. It's very clear, Pradeep Bhandari, these are very grave charges. The TMC has raised a point which has credence to it. Release a white paper, show exactly how much has been allocated to Bengal since 2021 to now, because I think that's the term that one can use for this government.
As I reiterate, 8.0 lakh crore has been allocated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government to Bengal, which is 4 times what Mamata Banerjee and Congress could allocate as alliance partners to Bengal. Point number 2, Partha Chatterjee was found with a cash worth of 40 crores. That is evident on how Bengal was being looted by Mamata Banerjee and her close aides. As recent as now, there has been no relief for Mamata Banerjee's government, even in the SSC job scam, where the Supreme Court has dismissed the review petition of the state. So there is a policy corruption which is taking place, there is institutional corruption, and also there is individual corruption which is taking place. Now let us come to the point of what Mamata Banerjee has done for Bengal. Can you tell me one state which promotes infiltrators, which promotes rape accused? Now let me tell you another data point. The total public debt in Bengal has risen to 7.06 lakh crore. At the same time, Bengal infiltration has gone up by 33.5%. Now, what we are trying to say here is that Mamata Banerjee's government is taking and snatching away the rights which belong to the innocent Bengalis, whether it is from belonging to any caste, and giving it to the infiltrators. And this is what is the biggest issue. Let me quote another point. If you say that Mamata Banerjee has to be credited, please answer why Selda-Espalja stretch of Eastern-Western Metro was delayed repeatedly because the state government did not do any cooperation. Why has a no NOC certificate not been given for months on the new Guria Airport Metro line, which the central government has been asking? And if our intent was not pure and honest, why would we have increase the allocation of railway budget for Bengal from 4,380 crore at the time of the UPA government to 13,000 crore. But the larger issue is big. What has Mahua Moitra said in a podcast interview? She said कि घुसपैठिए कैसे आ सकते हैं? बांग्लादेश की इकोनॉमी प्रॉस्पर कर रही है, हिंदुस्तान की इकोनॉमी नहीं कर रही. So an economy, India, which is in the top 5 economies in the world, you have a member of parliament of
In
a border
whose
district,
podcast?
Mahua Moitra. It's an open video out there. I can show it to you if you want. I'll show it here.
No, I was just confused. I thought my podcast.
No,
but she didn't
this
say
is
that
Mahua
on my
Moitra.
podcast.
She is insulting the Bengalis by saying who will come to Bengal, who will come to India. They'll rather go to Bangladesh.
All right,
So
okay,
the
I'll come
loyalties
back-
of the
I'll-
MPs here are towards
Okay, but-
Bangladesh,
okay.
to infiltrators and not to
I
Bengal.
want to
This
go
tells you the
back to
intent of the
Manojit.
state.
I'd like to go back to Manojit Mandal, but where infiltration is concerned, Pradeep Bhandari, it's also not just the responsibility of West Bengal. There is the BSF, there is the Home Ministry. If the question is about the West Bengal government not giving the land for fencing, why are the numbers technically higher in the state of Assam? But I'll come back to
Just
you.
10 seconds on the BSF
Sir, I'll
point.
come back to you.
2,688 infiltrators have been arrested by BSF in the last 3 years.
All
That
right,
is also
okay,
a point.
I'll circle back to you. Manojit Mandal, the larger question, sir, which Pradeep Bhandari was raising, and in terms of the corruption, the systematic decay in developmental work where West Bengal is concerned, can be read through a July 2025 Rajya Sabha report, which seems to suggest 6,688 companies have left West Bengal from the period of April 2011 to 31st March 2025. That's a staggering number, Manojit Mandal.
Equal number of investment has come back to Bengal as well. If you look at the statistics in the last 10 years, every year, Mamta Di herself is holding International Bengal Summit, where crores, thousands of crores of investment are coming. Jindal has come, Tata has come back. And you talked about Nano. Look at the fate of Nano in Gujarat. It's a disaster. It has not gone down well. It has to stop. And you talk about corruption. Oh my God, BJP talking about corruption is the brutal oxymoron. Shubhendu Adhikari is sitting behind, who was seen by BJP to take money from their own office, and Prime Minister is talking about corruption. Narayan Rane and Ajit Pawar, 36,000 ka ghotala. Who said it? Prime Minister himself. And then go back to Nagaland and also to Meghalaya. The person who was fighting BJP, Prime Minister said that he's the most corrupt chief minister. And the moment the election is over, they have done their alliance with them. And in Haryana, the two generations they were convicted. Chautalas, father and the son, they were convicts, not just accused. They were convicts, and they made the government with the third generation. That is Mr. I don't know, again, forgot the name of that person. You know it very well. BJP talking about corruption, I think, could be the most brutal joke in this country. And then again, I come back to infiltration. Look at, I repeat, look at Assam, look at Bihar. You are trampling upon the rights of the people, voting rights of the people, without any rhyme and reason.
Okay, I have 20 seconds. I'm going to allow Pradeep Bhandari to answer that question. Let's get the graphic on again of all the leaders who have faced corruption charges, and now seemingly what the TMC suggests are in the BJP washing machine. The Legion, the whole list right there, Pradeep Bhandari, I don't think you care for me to read out the names.
Preeti, if they believe that the investigation is not honest, they can file a writ in the Supreme Court. None of the parties have filed a single writ in the Supreme Court. They can also have a Supreme Court monitored investigation. They've not done so because they know that the investigation has happened in a proper manner. This is your sister channel, Aaj Tak, breaking the amount of cash which was found at Partha Chatterjee, a man who has 40 crore and who's close hand of Mamta Banerjee. I again reiterate, can you please tell me, who does Bengal belong to? It belongs to the Bengalis, not to the infiltrators. Why is Trinamool Congress not giving 363 kilometers of land in the last 11 years, not given a single kilometer of land which is needed for fencing?
Okay, Monajit, answer that question and then we're going to head into a break.
Bengal belongs to the Bengalis, and that's why the Prime Minister had to say Joy Bangla and Joy Ma Tara. He was given a different kind of picture. But you did not say, but your leaders are saying Jai Sri Ram here. That is the change, and that
Ram,
change happened
Kali
because of
are
Bengali
intertwined,
Asmita.
sir.
But
That is where you will not
when
understand.
the Prime Minister was
That is where
talking
you do
about
not understand Bengali Asmita.
Again, look at the irony. Mr. Amit Malviya, who abolished the Bengali language, he was sitting behind
Absolutely
the
a
Prime Minister.
fake news.
He was.
It
he
is
was
your
fake
Ratna
news.
Biswas saying do
All
not
right,
give the
okay,
rights
on
to
that
Bengalis
note,
and give it
allow
to
me
the
to go into a
infiltrators.
break. I
What
appreciate
are you
both the
talking
gentlemen
about?
for joining us this evening. I'm sure viewers, West Bengal elections are still a year away. I think we're going to see the same narrative build over in months to come for West Bengal. For now, you're, of course, focused on Bihar. But with that, I want to quickly move on to our other big story today. The Supreme Court on Friday issued new directives to the Election Commission on its special intensive revision of the electoral rolls in Bihar. The court has allowed those left out of draft rolls to submit Aadhaar as proof along with their objections. My colleague Nalini Sharma tells us more.
The Supreme Court of India today, while hearing the Bihar SIR matter, directed the Election Commission to not only accept the 11 documents that they had officially prescribed, but also accept Aadhaar as voter identification documents for voters who are willing to file their claims and objections with the ECI. The Supreme Court also told the ECI to ensure that the voters have the option of either filing their forms physically in person or online to ensure that the entire process remains voter-friendly. The Supreme Court also directed the booth-level agents of various political parties to help and assist the voters on their ground file their claims and objections. The bench led by Justice Suryakant expressed surprise at the minimal intervention of the political parties in Bihar in the entire SIR process, noting that despite the fact that 1.6 lakh booth level agents had been appointed and 65 lakh voter names had been deleted, only 2 official claims or objections had been received on behalf of the political parties by the Election Commission of India. To ensure this is not done, the Supreme Court went ahead and directed the political parties to direct all of their booth-level agents to be on the ground to assist the voters, especially those who want to approach the Election Commission with any claims or objections. Not just this, the Supreme Court also directed these political parties to ensure that their representatives are present in court on the next date of hearing, which is on the 8th of September, to apprise the bench about the steps that are being taken by the political parties to be a part of the entire SIR exercise in Bihar. Reporting from New Delhi for India Today, this is Nalini Sharma.
Meanwhile, the Delhi stray dog debate has a new twist. The Supreme Court has ruled sterilize, vaccinate and release all captured dogs. Animal lovers are now clearly celebrating, but public safety concerns still loom large.
And the strays of Delhi NCR have had their fates rewritten. A decision that brings supreme relief to animal lovers, but fuels fresh concerns for public safety. The much-awaited Supreme Court order is out. All stray dogs picked up must be sterilized, immunized, and then released back. But there's one exception. Aggressive or rabid dogs will not return to the streets. They will stay in shelters.
मैं बहुत ही खुश हूँ कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट, और मैं उनका धन्यवाद देती हूँ कि उन्होंने बहुत ही साइंटिफिक तरीके से और बहुत ही धैर्य से सोच समझ करके उन्होंने ये वर्डिक्ट दिया है.
Adding on, the court has drawn a hard line on feeding strays. No feeding in public spaces, only in designated zones which are to be identified in every municipal block.
हम लोग डॉग्स को खाना कहाँ खिलाएंगे, हमें बस ये जानना है. अगर आप हमें डेजिग्नेटेड एरिया दे देंगे, मैं अपने कुत्तों को खुद वहाँ से गोदी से उठा के लेके जाऊंगी, मैं उनको वहाँ पर जाके खाना खिलाऊंगी.
Any violation will invite action.
ये बहुत ही अच्छा फैसला है और हम इसको 100% इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे.
The court also encouraged adoption of strays, urging citizens and NGOs to take responsibility.
मेरे हिसाब से it's a very very balanced order. अच्छा ऑर्डर है. उन्होंने ये कहा है और सबसे बड़ी बात उन्होंने सारे स्टेट्स को इन्वॉल्व कर दिया इसमें. सुओ मोटो.
Dog lovers call it a balanced judgment. Some even promise to help sterilize, feed and manage the strays.
हम हेल्प करेंगे रेबीज डॉग्स और एनिमल पकड़ाने में.
But critics ask, who decides which dog is aggressive?
तो
आप कैसे जजमेंट कर सकते हो कि कौन सा कुत्ता काटेगा और कौन सा कुत्ता नहीं काटेगा?
They argue shelters may be costly, but public safety is priceless.
शेल्टर बनने में हमें भी पता है कि टाइम लगेगा और उसमें करोड़ों रुपए खर्च होने हैं, मगर ये सिचुएशन और ये जो कंडीशन है ये सबके लिए सेफ्टी, इंसानियत सेफ्टी से ज्यादा नहीं है।
So while the court has chosen streets over shelters for Delhi's strays, the question now is, will municipalities rise to the challenge? Or will the city's stray saga continue to chase its own tail? With Srishti Ojha and Shivani Sharma, Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, this was an issue that had quickly gotten political. Let's take a look at what our political leaders said about the Supreme Court's order dated August 11th. Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta initially welcomed the order, stating that the stray dog menace had assumed gigantic proportions, assuring her government would soon introduce a policy to implement the Supreme Court's order in a systematic manner. However, following public protest, she altered her stance and said she would act in accordance with the top court. Interestingly, RSS chief also commented on the issue, affirming that animals have the right to live, adding that stray dog problem in Delhi can only be addressed by regulating their population, not by confining them to shelters. Leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, too, criticized the Supreme Court's initial order, calling it a step back from decades of humane, science-backed policy. All right. Meanwhile, let's quickly address our two big questions which we take to our panelists. How to check stray dog menace now? Population regulation, is that the ideal solution? But what is the stopgap till we find and reach that goal? Nationwide crackdown needed, something that the top court also touched upon today. Joining me, Anish Gawande, animal lover and spokesperson on NCP, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, chairperson, Nephron Clinic. I'd like to begin with Dr. Sanjeev Bagai. Dr. Bagai, you've come on my show multiple times. You were one of the staunchest supporters of the original Supreme Court order, but now that order stands changed. Are you happy with the new order, which many think is more acceptable and possibly more humane?
Good evening, everyone. So I think we need to stop making a distinction that in case you don't care for animals, that means you hate animals. So in the same breath, likewise, if someone doesn't care for children in terms of treating children, it doesn't mean that they hate children. The only issue is of public safety and health of children, elderlies, and the vulnerable, which are the specially abled or disabled. My limited observations on the present Supreme Court Honorable Justice's order is as follows. When we vaccinate and then we sterilize and we bring them back on the streets, there is no guarantee at all from 0 to 100 that these dogs will not bite. Our focus so far has been highlighted on multiple television platforms of rabies. Rabies, yes, is a distinct threat. India has the largest population of rabies. The reports are underreported by WHO statement also. But the issue is that the dog saliva and the bites contain hundreds of bacteria which are antibiotic resistant. Point number two, 40% of the children who have been bitten by stray dogs are children. Just by the height and stature of children, the dog bites, most of them, majority, more than 50% of them are on head, face, neck. A vast majority of these children require extensive surgeries, reconstructive surgeries. There is nerve damage, there is bone damage, and so on. The elderlies, especially when they are being chased by stray dogs, the most common event which happens as a mishap is a fall. Fracture neck femurs, head injuries are extremely common. We don't talk of those eventualities. I think it's important to look at the picture in totality. Under any set of circumstances, I am absolutely clear there should be no cruelty to any animal, including dog or any other animal. But the issue is, how do we distinguish between an aggressive dog and a non-aggressive dog? The behavior pattern can change at any given point of time. These same stray dogs litter and then they defecate all over the colonies, spreading infections. We don't have the manpower, we don't have the resources, we don't have the scalability to vaccinate these 12 lakh dogs in Delhi, to immunize them, to sterilize them, and then you're bringing them back into the society. My limited point is public safety, health concerns for children and the elderly and the vulnerable is of paramount importance. Over to you.
All right, Dr. Bagai has made some strong points. Anish, who joins us more in the capacity today of an animal lover, less as a spokesperson of the NCP. Anish, the order has been welcomed by everybody. And I would think even most people who supported the original order were not really anti-dogs or wanted to cull the dogs in the streets. There was a genuine problem. Until the time we reach that kind of dimension where we are talking about sterilizing the dogs, putting them back on the streets, there are still going to be 9 to 10 lakh dogs, especially in the Delhi NCR region, and the dog bite numbers are still going to be very high.
Preeti, thank you for having me. And let me start off by saying that I am an animal lover, but I'm a cat lover. So I just rescued 5 cats and I want stray dogs off the streets as much as anyone else does, right? And I think the problem is that over the course of the last few days, this has become an incredibly divisive, heated, emotional issue. And we've lost sight of the public policy question that is at the stake of this issue. Now, unfortunately, this level of a stray dog menace is caused by decades of municipal corporation inaction, right? The last count that was held for dogs, and that was over a decade ago, much like the last count for people was held 15 years ago, showed that Mumbai had 90,000 stray dogs and Delhi had nearly 3 lakh stray dogs. This reflects a failure of Delhi to implement the ABC measures over the course of the last 2 decades.
Anish, I completely agree with you. Nobody is denying the fact that the MCD has been an abject failure in this job. We are once again entrusting the MCD to carry out the work that it did not do earlier. And number 2, because the MCD failed at its job, the citizens pay the price for it today, and they'll continue to do so. Are we okay with that is the question?
I don't think we are. And unfortunately, I think the only option we've been left with, and it's a false option, is a magic wand solution, much like a magic wand solution for poverty is putting up G20 hoardings or sort of putting up any kind of hoardings. And much like a magic wand solution is fixing water woes overnight, regardless of which government has been in power and caused those water problems to begin with. And in a similar way, the problem we're faced with today is you have 3 options, right? Which have been presented to you by the court. One is culling, which is the quickest way of getting dogs off the street, but we know it doesn't work. It's not humane, and it would be abjectly cruel, right? We've seen that it doesn't work in Turkey, it doesn't work in Romania, because stray dogs from neighboring areas will just replace the ones that exist. The second option is sending all dogs to shelters. Now, unfortunately, this is absurdly expensive. For an MCD that does not have enough money for DTDC buses or the Delhi Jal Board, it's simply impractical to send every dog to a shelter, as much as we would like to, right? Everyone wants a control in the number of stray dogs on the street. So the third option, and unfortunately not a perfect option that we're left with, is vaccinate, sterilize, and release. Because this is a way of ensuring that, one, new stray dogs from neighboring areas don't take the place of old ones. And therefore, if you have an actually national mission, which I'm glad the Supreme Court has mandated today, you can actually get a stab at solving this issue. But instead of a 15,000 crore rupee shelter program, if we can just hike the budget from the 55 crores spent by the MCD over the course of the last decade to a modest sum supported by central grants, we'll come at somewhere close to a solution.
And go ahead, sir.
Just a very quick point I want to make. In fact, 2 quick points. One is, what's the cost of a human life? What's the cost of a full career and life of a child and a family? The amount of money which we will be spending in terms of sterilization, catching the dogs, vaccinating them, putting them back again, the manpower and the resources, who's going to monitor it? Who's going to survey it? Are we going to have these dog policemen or dog squads? Where is the infrastructure even to do it? It is better that we shelter the dogs in a proper manner and safeguard human lives.
Okay.
Point number 2, very quickly, is when you are looking at the finances, I want the government and the Supreme Court to actually have an audit of where the money which has been given and allocated for the dog from MCD, where has the money gone? Has it been spent? Has it
Right.
been misused?
And I'll give you a figure.
Including the
I'll give you a
budget
figure. Right. I'll give you a figure which is
budgets of
abysmal,
the
and it just
NGOs.
shows the incompetence of the MCD, because in 2022-2021, the financial year, 500 crores that the MCD had, it just spent 70 lakhs when it came down to sterilization and shelters, and that's just not enough to cut it. So that's how abysmal the MCD performed. I appreciate both you gentlemen for joining us, and I think it's a larger question where not just dogs are concerned, but all stray animals are concerned. You know, I might be a rare person, and Anish is a cat lover, but I've actually been bitten by a stray cat. So I'm going to leave it at that. And the rabies injections were horrible and not something that I ever look forward to again. But I'm going to let it be. I appreciate both you gentlemen for joining us. All right, viewers, on to our good news story for today. And we're going to leave you with this story for the weekend. A 24-year-old long-cherished dream is finally taking shape. Amanjot Kaur's hard work has paid off as she has earned a place in India's Women's World Cup squad. For this young cricketer and her family, it's not just a sporting milestone, but an emotional triumph, stitched together with perseverance and unwavering support. Take a look at her journey in this report in our good news story for the day. And thank you for watching. Have a fabulous weekend ahead. We'll see you Monday. In all probability, Rajdeep Sardesai will see you on Monday. Thank you for joining us.
Amanjot Kaur's trophies and medals get pride of place at her house in Chandigarh. The 24-year-old now gets a chance to fulfill her biggest dream: represent India in the Cricket World Cup that begins on September 30th.
ਸਾਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੀ ਕੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਦੀ ਉਹ NCH ਬੈਂਗਲੌਰ 'ਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੈਂਪ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਿਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਜੀ ਵਧਾਈਆਂ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ
Amanjot's journey started with scooter rides with her father to a cricket training center in Chandigarh. It was not an easy ride, but the family stood with her through thick and thin.
भी खुशी हुई है बच्ची सिलेक्ट हो गई और क्या वर्ल्ड कप में आना बहुत बड़ी बात है। अब ये है कि चलो जीत जाए वर्ल्ड कप। इसके पापा भी साथ में सपोर्ट इन्होंने भी किया है सर जब बच्चे को दो टाइम में खाना पीना।
Amanjot pursued her passion and was determined to wear the Indian cap right from the beginning, says her sister.
उसने ना तो पोस्टर लगा के रखे हुए थे अपने स्टार्ट उसने क्रिकेट किया था ना उसने बताया था कि अभी तो जो स्टार्टिंग हुई है मेरे को बहुत आगे जाना है मैं पढ़ाई कर रही हूँ बट अगर ऐसा पॉइंट आया ना कि मेरे को उस पर फोकस करना है क्रिकेट पे तो मैं करूँगी उस पर ज़्यादा मैं टाइम क्रिकेट को देने लग जाऊँगी।
Amanjot made her debut for India in T20 in 2023. Same year she made her ODI debut. An all-rounder, Amanjot is key to the team's chances at the World Cup being hosted by India. With Aman Bharadwaj, Bureau Report, India Today.